But yeah, all right, boom, 31 minutes.
Nice job.
All right, so moving on. I'm gonna say 3100. So the comics that made us. Do you got your list?
Yes.
Okay.
Let me get out my phone.
I'm gonna pull up my web browser with my 90,000 tabs. All right, so just kind of typical fashion. One, then we'll volley it back and forth. And since you are the visitor, you are the white chess piece.
All right.
Kick it off, buddy.
So. Okay, my first one is Star Wars, the original. It wasn't even A New Hope. When I got the comic book,
it's just Star Wars.
Yeah, it was just Star Wars, and it was that. Looking back, the art is absolutely terrible.
Oh, it's horrible, right?
Oh my gosh.
So funny thing, when people ask me about Star Wars and I list them off, I always refer to Star Wars as Star Wars.
Yeah.
And people are like, well, yeah, but which Star Wars?
The Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
Which one is that? I'm like, the one that came before Empire.
Yep.
So which episode is that? I don't know. They weren't episodes.
No, they weren't.
So.
And it's funny because I think the first movie I went to see, I saw it in a drive-in.
Oh, wow.
Drive-in, not drive-through. That would have been weird.
Ooh, a drive-through movie would be great.
Eat. Anyway.
Just crash right in. Drive right out the other side when you're done.
It'd be great. Like the A-Team. When they
Anyway.
But and I think that was like in 1978. And it was the first comic book that I remember even getting, and I read it on our way to Florida over and over and over again and sat there and drew pictures from it. Nice. And it really kicked off. Star Wars kicked off my whole art life and design life.
Yeah, see, you are a fantastic. So we're both designers, but we're much different kinds of designers. You are much more artistic than I am, and I'm much more flow oriented.
Yes.
So, which is why we do UX, and why UX is a great multidisciplinary practice.
It is.
So, but yeah, no, that's cool. I have a couple of the original Star Wars comics from Marvel. You're right. The art, looking back on it, it's like,
oh man. And
I thought that was good.
Yeah, I loved it.
I was always so excited to see it come out.
And they crammed so many letters, like word bubbles into a thing. Right? It was like you barely saw like a corner of C-3PO's head at the beginning. I'm like, ooh, this is bad.
You kind of saw a hand.
Yeah.
So, very, very good. So, my first one is the new Teen Titans, the Judas Contract.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So that was the new team. So that was 42 to 44 in Tales of the Teen Titans, and concluded in the Teen Titans Annual. And it was written and edited by the great Marv Wolfman with George Perez doing the artwork.
That combination is so good.
Yeah, I have a signed Ultimate or whatever, the Absolute Crisis.
Oh, really?
With both of them. George signed all of it, every little piece. Marv Wolfman was like, if I have to sign it, I will. So I'm like, okay. I mean, but I didn't. So the funny thing is, I did not ask George Perez to sign the whole thing. He just did. Yeah. He just pulled the whole thing out, and it was really nice. So the Judas Contract, to me, it was the first time that we saw Nightwing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so Robin was always my favorite character. And part of the reason I liked Robin so much is because he did all the same stuff that Batman. Yeah. With his bat beanie or bat yarmulke. No, that Batman could do. But he wasn't, no pun intended, batshit crazy. He has dark hair and blue eyes. And, I could do flippy things and stuff back when I was a kid. And I was like, oh, hey, I like Robin. I can do some of that. Hey, I can kick. I do a round kick like that. So, I once vaulted over a bully. But, so it was it was just one of those things where in 1984, I was 7. It was one of the first. It was I was really into the Teen Titans.
Oh yeah,
they were the kids and the sidekicks, and Robin was their leader, so I was all about it. And then like he had quit.
Yep.
And he'd quit everything, and then he comes back and he saves the day, and he had the sweet Elvis,
the flip up collar. Yeah.
So I realized I just did that, and like I just like flipped the collar.
Yep.
Up, but like speaking of a non-visual medium, Matt and I are wearing the same shirt.
Yeah.
So he has a hoodie version, and I have the T-shirt version, but it's a design he made, which you can get at Teespring.
No, it's at TeePublic.
TeePublic. Sorry.
No, that's okay. I'm thinking about getting a Teespring.
If you just look up, just keep TeePublic. I actually ordered like 6 more like different shirts from TeePublic.
Oh, did you?
Because I was like,
they have some good shirts on there.
What other Star Wars shirts are on here?
Yep.
I got a cool B-wing, a cool A-wing, a cool Y-wing.
Yep.
I got one of the Ahsoka Trooper shirts, and I forget what the 5th one was. But anywho, but yeah. So this was just one that really spoke to me, and it was 1984. I was of the age where I was really like starting to devour comics.
Yep.
And boom.
And that was one of the smartest things DC did, was with Teen Titans.
Well, if you remember, Teen Titans and X-Men were the 2 best-selling books.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Teenage angst.
Yeah. Lots of
comes
teenage
out
angst.
Crazy superheroes. Okay, my number 2 is Wolverine, which I know you absolutely love. 1 through 4. And just like you, I related to Wolverine.
Small and hairy.
Small and hairy. That's exactly. Actually, it was because he was so short. I'm like, this is cool. There's a short superhero.
That's how I felt about Chris Jericho when he came out in wrestling.
Oh yeah.
It's like,
yep.
Wait, he's 6. Well, if he's 6 foot, I'll eat my hat. But like, he's 6 foot. I'm 6 foot. Like, I could have been a professional wrestler.
See, and I had claws that came out of my hands.
I mean, who doesn't?
Right. But yeah, and it was written by Chris Claremont, and I think it was illustrated by Frank Miller.
Yeah.
And looking back, here's another one that this was before Frank Miller lost his mind and became homeless Frank Miller. I don't know what happened to him, but
he used all of his creative juices up in RoboCop 2.
Yeah.
And he hasn't been good. He has not been good ever since then. So.
And and plus, I mean, you had Wolverine fighting pirates, and it was really the first time I had seen Wolverine in a comic book.
Yeah.
That I can remember, at least. And it was when I was old enough.
Weren't those the days?
Yeah. No kidding.
Anyway.
But yeah, and it was also the first time I had a actual pull list from a comic book store, because it was on my way home from where I worked, which was
that Mavericks up in Dayton?
No, it was actually it's called Dark Star 2.
Oh, okay.
And it was the owner of Dark Star 1. It was his mom that ran it, and she always set aside a bunch of comics, because I stopped there every day on my way back from the swimming pool where I worked.
Okay. Very cool. All right, my number 2 is Kraven's Last Hunt. From The Amazing Spider-Man.
Good call.
And Spectacular Spider-Man and Web of Spider-Man. It was J.M. DeMatteis, right? I think that's how you say it. And Mike Zack, who would not sign my badge at the expo a few years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it was whatever, the presenter's badge or whatever, because Queen City Comics got me the badge.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, oh, no, I'm only signing it for fans. I'm like,
what?
It's like, I just do the dude's marketing. I don't
So if you're a presenter, you're not a fan.
Look at all of this stuff I have.
Yeah.
So.
You present? No.
Yeah.
No, you can.
I was going to buy this print from you, but you can put that back when you're in the pile now. Anyway. No, it was just, I mean, like, again, this was 87, so I'm 10.
Yep.
I was just about to turn 10 when it first started. And it was just like this whole new thing for Spider-Man. It was like dark and like kind of scary, and the one, I think it was at part 4 or 5 where he's in the grave, and it's like, what is going to happen? And I remember, like, as I was like as it was coming to an end, it's like, I'm like, we have to go to the comic book store today.
Yep.
And it was, we were not close, and we were at Kroger
Okay.
And Kroger had the issue.
Yep.
I was like, I don't have any money with me. Can you just buy it? Because like I paid for like my allowance and stuff as how I bought comics because they were only 75 cents.
Yep.
But I mean, it was just like, it was so cool. And like Kraven is such an interesting villain. And, obviously it's Peter Parker, and watching like a desperate Peter Parker.
Yep.
Like I did not understand at the time what I was reading and why I loved it so much. But, it was, it was just so good. And the fact that they crossed over is the first thing that kind of crossed over for me.
Yep.
Across multiple titles, and I ended up like really digging even deeper into Spider-Man than liking him from the Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. It's like, wait, no, that is not Spider-Man.
Right.
This is Peter Parker. And like, it's funny because like I always joke, it's like I wanted to be like Peter Parker and Clark Kent, right?
Oh yeah.
That's why I take pictures and I have a degree in journalism.
Yep.
Because it's like that's who I liked. I mean, I love their alter egos. I think it's funny that it's kind of so DeMatteis had pitched this to DC, where the Joker killed Batman.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, this is too much like the Killing Joke. But if you take and you turn it around with Spider-Man being hunted by a madman,
oh yeah,
it makes way more sense. And then it set like Straczynski then later on, like with the totems and stuff, really like took this story and like built out. And I know that's a controversial thing to say. I like that run.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
Okay, good. I love the run.
Yeah.
So, and I catch flack for this all the time. I actually like John Romita Jr. So,
I do too. Yeah.
So anyway, but yeah, no. So Kraven's Last Hunt, man, so good.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a terrifying run too, and it had the best cliffhangers.
Yes.
Like it would end, and you're like, oh my gosh.
Right. It's like I have to get.
Yeah.
There.
Okay, number 3, The Dark Knight Returns, which I know, is
it's a classic.
Yeah. And that's another one where I look back and I'm like, man, the artwork. Frank Miller's artwork. It drives me nuts because I like cleaner lines than that, and it always looks like somebody was just sketching on a napkin. And hey, you know what? There we go.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm sure he had tight deadlines and things like that.
So
but
I like the art in The Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah.
I did not like the art in any of the subsequent Dark Knight Returns versions.
No.
They were just talk about sloppy.
Right.
But yeah, no, I get you. I feel you there.
But I did like the designs of it, like the way he designed Batman and the character, the way he took Batman's character to being older and having to like rely on his brains a little more than he did before, which he's supposed to be the world's greatest detective. And for a while there, he just became like, I don't know, like a 90s or an 80s action star.
Yeah, he's Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
So, but
yep.
Not that Bruce Lee wasn't smart. I mean, that dude was brilliant.
Right.
But my favorite part is when he's fighting the mutant leader.
Yeah.
And the monologue that he's giving him, like, when he's like, you think this is a fighting pit. No.
Yeah.
This is a surgeon's table. And, it's like, oh, it's so awesome. I remember the first time I learned about like the little like nerve cluster right at your shoulder.
Yep.
And thinking about that.
Yep.
So I would always like in judo. So when I would pull you forward, I would grab and dig my thumb in there to like, so whatever, like, so if I grabbed with my right, your left arm was useless.
Yep.
So it's like, thank you, Batman.
I actually when I wrestled, I would use my chin. I'd put it there and pull people with my chin and dig it in there because it would press their shoulder blades back.
So, I got these pokey ass fingers. I always have.
Yep.
So like it just like it hurts. Nice. So my next one is actually Batman as well. It's Batman Nightfall.
Yeah.
And so I mean, I think you're getting a theme here. You're seeing my favorite heroes being completely deconstructed and broken down and built back up. I loved John Paul Valley.
Yes.
I love the entire arc of John Paul Valley.
Right.
Azrael, I have I didn't get I don't have the newest McFarlane Azrael with the battle suit one,
Yep.
and the all black. I'm gonna get it eventually. But I have almost every single Azrael action figure. I love the character. I love what John Paul Valley went to. I love what it did to Dick Grayson.
Yes.
Which, again, being my favorite character in all of comics. Like, I hated John Paul Valley while I still love John Paul Valley, because it's like, why
Yeah.
you gonna got to do Dick Grayson like that?
Yeah.
So only like, if I'd only known what Dan Didio was gonna do to Dick Grayson later in life, I would have been like, these are the good old days.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it was so great, because again, this is one of those things where it's the very first time you get to see like this big massive story arc.
Yep.
That was put together. I mean, there had been events before in maxi series before,
right,
but like this was like a Batman spanning thing, and
yep.
it affected everybody. And Tim Drake played such a cool part in it, being relatively new to the Robin role. It really made me forget all about Jason Todd and how much I hated Jason Todd. I still want my 95 cents back. Yeah. So, but and then the artwork and being introduced to Bane.
Yes.
I mean, Bane became this great villain.
Right.
That has since, like, and I hate to give her credit for this, but like Gail Simone's Bane in The Secret Six.
Yes.
Is the second best Bane ever written after Nightfall.
Right.
So.
Well, I like that one because it built the world of Gotham.
Oh,
and Gotham felt like a
place.
A place, and it a scary place too.
Scarier than like just normal Gotham.
Yeah, it wasn't like New York, plus it was terrifying.
I thought the other interesting thing too is you were always waiting for the other shoe to drop of
yes.
when the Joker was going to show
right.
up, and the fact that like he never really did.
Yeah,
that they let Bane
right
be that bad guy all the way through and everything,
and the way they made him big, scary, and very smart.
Yep.
That was amazing.
I loved Bane in the Batman the Animated Series, by the way, when it was Hector Alonso as the voice.
Yep.
Yeah, just classic.
That whole thing was great.
So much better than
I was born into the likeness. You was adopted it.
Why do they give that guy a mask in every movie he's in?
Because he can only act with his eyes and grunts.
Yeah, I mean he's a great actor.
Actually,
but
have you ever seen Love and War or This Means War?
No, I have
This
not.
Means War with him and Chris Pine.
No,
dude, go home tonight. I don't know where it's streaming, but like, that's your Valentine's Day movie.
Okay.
So for you and Wifey Poo.
I was gonna say Bronson, but
Bronson's really good too.
I love that movie.
But no, I'm just saying like this is one where he's funny. He acts like he speaks in his normal voice.
Yeah,
it's the only time I've ever heard it. I do love him in Warrior though. But again, he just grunts and makes mean faces.
Yeah.
So
he's just
Anyway, all right.
Number 4, The Killing Joke.
Nice.
Alan Moore. Yeah. Alan Moore is one of my favorite writers when he's on, when he's not losing his mind too.
when he's not on the sauce.
Man, yeah. I don't know what happens to these people. And maybe it'll happen to me one day too. I'll lose my mind and
I
not
tell
be
you
able
what
to
it
write.
is. They're geniuses. They're genius creators. And they put so much into what they do, and they feel like they have to top it.
Oh yeah, I could see that. I guess
I think that's part of it. And so they're like, well, what big crazy thing that can we do? And then it just turns into like what Avengers Endgame was, just a giant spot fest.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, the story suffers because they're like, what crazy thing can we do?
See, I think I'll be safe then because I'm not much of a genius, so I'll just write okay stuff.
Anyway.
Okay, and then The Killing Joke. I loved it because you had the Joker was terrifying, and when the way he and the point of it is pretty interesting. When one bad day could pretty much rip anybody apart and turn him into him.
Which, the best part is they never told us his name.
No.
And we don't even know if that's really true.
Right.
That's the beauty of it.
And that was the other thing I loved. And the artwork was just fantastic. The color in it was so good. And that was really that and one that's coming up later on, I think, in my list. I don't know if I have it in there. Yeah, I do. It was when they were starting to get, nice paper for comics, and the printing was really, higher quality.
Yeah, you got those nice black lines.
Yeah.
So the stroke around them.
Yeah.
I loved how too with Batman that was where we started getting those like shoulder horns, in the cape.
Yeah.
Was really cool, and I thought the way they drew the Joker was great. The scene when he first takes the Red Hood mask off, or the panel, and he has his hands like, like who doesn't like style their hair and do that?
Exactly.
I mean, I may or may not have done it this morning. So I hear you. All right. So my next one is the trade Green Lantern: A New Dawn. It was Ron Mars and Darryl Banks, and it was the introduction of Kyle Rayner.
What? Oh yeah, you're right.
And Kyle Rayner is my favorite Green Lantern.
Yep.
So I like to what is it? Just based on their traits, that's like so Hal is the Republican Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Guy is the angry Green Lantern.
Yeah.
John is the soldier Green Lantern.
Mm-hmm.
And the black Green Lantern, but that's neither here nor there. And then Kyle is the artist.
Yep.
And then like when you put the four of those guys together, they're this amazing team. But like we wouldn't learn that for years and years. But I'll never forget. I was getting ready to take a trip, and I was at Barnes and Noble, Borders, one of the bookstores, and I was looking for something, and I hadn't been getting Green Lantern as regularly, and I had kind of stopped when Parallax, like right before Parallax became a thing.
Yep.
And so I picked up the trade because we were taking a flight, and I wanted something to read, and I think I read it like 4 times on the flight.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is awesome. And like it was the trade, so there were new books out, so I was able to go back and catch up with like 0 Hour and Emerald Twilight and everything. And then like just falling in love with Kyle, I thought was awesome. And so, one of the things is Kyle has like just a horrible origin story.
Yeah, he does.
Right?
Yeah.
He's a half Latino kid.
Yep.
Who doesn't know his dad. Like he just thinks his dad's a deadbeat. His dad turns out to be much more than that.
Right.
But he's kind of just a guy who's just kind of floating through life, not sure what to do. He's got this great girlfriend, and Ganthet finds him.
Yep.
And actually this is like kind of the first time we learned one of the names of a Guardian.
Right.
And he gives him the ring, and then dies, and doesn't give him any instructions, like, just tells him he's the torchbearer. And Kyle's like, in his 9 Inch Nails t-shirt.
Yeah, I remember that.
He's like, I must be really drunk. But then it cost him his girlfriend, Alexandra DeWitt, who was a great character for like what little bit we got of her. And we get her coming back here and there. But like this sparked the whole women in fridges thing. And the version I have, the door is open.
Oh, it is?
So you see her stuffed in there.
Oh, wow.
So, and I also have the floppy issue as well, because I went back and I was like, this, like, but watching him against Major Force, was really something like crazy, because you never saw Hal lose it like that. You never really saw Guy lose it like that.
No, and that's the thing. They never had much personality to them.
No,
really. I mean, they were just, and it's funny. I used to think Green Lantern was so dumb.
Oh, dude, no.
Until that run, and that's when I was like, oh wow.
So, So Green Lantern: New Dawn. It was 94. I mean, that's when it came out. I think I read it in 96, but it was really, really cool, and it also kind of kept me, because I was starting to kind of be like, girls. Yeah. Girls. I need to spend my money on dates, and no, I didn't. I've realized, no, I can still spend my money on cash, on comics. So, all right, what do you got next?
All right. Mine is Uncanny X-Men, and it's a specific issue is 251. Mm-hmm. And it's my memory. I remember going to the comic book store, and they had set it aside, and she's like, you better get this now because they're making us pull them off the shelf. I'm like, really? And so she hands it to me, and it's Wolverine on a big X. He's crucified on it.
Oh.
And the whole thing is the whole issue is him hallucinating.
Oh, the fever dream.
Yeah. And I absolutely loved that for some reason. And I loved the artwork and the way they drew it. To me, it was a fascinating like story. That was the first time I noticed, I really like the story even more than I like the art.
Yeah.
And that just blew my mind that they could fit all that into one issue.
Yeah. So like, if I remember, that one always kind of reminded me of like some of the New Mutant stuff that had come before that with the early days. But yeah, no, that's cool. That's a good one. So I don't think, did I put any individual issues? I don't think I did.
As Mark Silvestri's art, so.
Oh yeah.
He's
still
amazing.
Great. He's still great.
Oh, he's amazing.
So, yeah, I did not
Claremont.
put a single issue.
Oh, really?
No. All right. So are you good?
Yep.
Okay. So my next one is Rising Stars from 1999 to 2005. J. Michael Straczynski's Top Cow.
Oh yeah.
Like so actually I just gave it to the kid to read.
Oh really?
Yeah. So cuz she's been just piling through and so but yeah, no, this was Joe's comics in print by Top Cow. So this was Straczynski doing his own thing. It is not a series without its issues. No pun intended. I did not mean to say
nice.
That. It goes out with quite the whimper.
Yeah.
But I will say the first two trade paperbacks are some of the best storytelling in comics, in my opinion. It's about the specials. They're 113 kids. I love that. Like, I love the world with no superheroes that suddenly gets superheroes and to see how they react. I love Poet.
Oh yeah.
Poet was I love that Poet was the focal character too, because they very easily could have gone with like Matthew Bright or with Raven Shadow as the main characters. This is the one where they have Flag, who later becomes Patriot.
Yeah.
Like the one that you perceive is the best, and like I feel like he was the prototype for Homelander.
Yes.
So
you're exactly right.
Like Homelander is just Jason taken to like 11 and then like losing all of the positive things that his dad instilled in him.
Yeah.
Homelander is Jason Miller, Patriot from Rising Stars without his dad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Plain and simple. The whole Critical Mass storyline, like that, like the way they get into like dual personalities, and the fact that the way these kids felt about themselves growing up is how their powers developed and everything. There's no throwaway lines. Everything means something, and it circles back.
Yes.
So
it's really brilliant writing.
Yeah. It's very, like, I never watched Babylon 5.
I don't think I have either.
So apparently it's on Amazon now. So, but I loved it. It's so great. I've read it, probably 40 times.
Oh, that's cool. I might check that out. And I haven't read that in a long time.
So this one was after, so in college, I stopped collecting.
Okay.
Because beer.
And I didn't drink till I was 30. So.
And so this was one of the first like books that I came back to, like that I hunted down, and like, to have the whole collection. And so I have all the floppies, I have all the trades, I have it digitally.
Oh, wow.
It's like one of those. For the longest time, whenever I flew, I just would bring all 3 trades in my backpack, and that's what I brought on the plane every time I flew. Partly because of superstition, and just partly because I really love reading it. So anyway, what do you got next?
Next I have Spawn, the first one, like the beginnings of the series when Todd first started it, because that was the first time really color popped on a page.
Yes.
He's like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. When you see, that's when I realized, okay, if somebody does their own artwork and their own writing and they're passionate about it, it can take it to another level.
You were like, if Todd McFarlane can do it, so can I.
If that dork, no, I'm just kidding. I like Todd McFarlane.
So, yeah, I do too. Obviously,
Yeah.
with all the McFarlane.
I love it watching interviews with him.
Oh, he's great.
And
Yeah, he's a fan,
yes,
right? And my favorite thing about Todd McFarlane is the stand he took about Spidey.
yes,
He which is also ironic because I'm not going to draw Spider-Man killing.
yeah,
I'm going to make the bloodiest comic that ever existed.
yeah.
So
He's gonna tear people apart.
yeah, so
but they are not gonna die.
right?
Right.
But yeah, no, I get it there.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. All right. So my next one is Powers, Who Killed Retro Girl.
Yeah.
The first one.
Yep.
So I think I have the first 11 trades.
Man, I haven't. Oh man, that takes me back.
But Who Killed Retro Girl was this great?
Yes.
Because it's a world where there's powers, there people who have powers, and they're kind of left to their own devices.
Yep.
To battle and do whatever. But then there's also police who deal specifically with the powers.
Yep.
And Retro Girl is the the big sexy hero that everybody loves. She's that all American girl, and she shows up dead, and we meet Christian Walker, who we learn was a hero, and he gets a new partner, and she's trying to figure out if he still has powers or not, and when she cheap shots him.
Yes.
But so this was great, and this was my first introduction to Michael Oem's
Oh yeah.
artwork, which I love. Very much like Phil Hester.
Yes.
Just a little more raw.
Yep.
But I really love it. I thought it was perfect for the stories and the books. And again, it was kind of it's kind of different. It wasn't just it wasn't gratuitously violent, but it wasn't super safe either.
Right. Right.
And it was in contrast to Nightfall, we were never going to see blood and guts. Bane was never going to rip Batman's leg off.
Right.
Whereas here, you've got the guy, he tries to teleport away, and she grabs him and is left holding his hand, and
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, and there's things like that you think, oh my gosh, I never even thought about that happening.
Right.
That's terrifying.
Yep. So and so kind of like Rising Stars, this one was done getting me back in. So I didn't get it when it first came out, but I got the trade and everything. So yeah.
All right. My next one is Hush. Batman Hush.
Oh, it's a perfect book.
Yeah, it really perfect. Is. That is my favorite Batman. The art, the story, the mystery, the way. I mean, it is. And I just read it last year.
Nice. For the first time?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because I was trying to stay away from, any big stories because, I was writing and I didn't want to, in any way feel like I was ripping anybody off. And that was so good. Oh my gosh. And yeah, the whole twist of it was good. The and I wish I would have read it when it first came out, when I got it and get it book by book, so that you could wait for it, because I love that anticipation.
Yeah, that was one I got in trades as well.
Yep. And Jim Lee's art. I love Jim Lee's art.
I think that is the best art Jim Lee has ever drawn.
Yes.
So.
Yep.
Plus, we got all the cool figures.
Yes.
Off of those.
Yep.
Off of that art. Very cool. And it brought back the mechanic. What was his name?
Oh.
I always call him Norman, but I know that's
no. Right. Oh man, now you got that in my head, and I can't think of anything else. Harold. Norman, Harold. Yeah. Harry. Yeah. Harry Osborn.
But and Harold came back and he could talk. And
yes.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
It's what happened?
Yep.
So and we learned quickly.
Yeah, that was good.
All right, so my next one is this is the one that actually got me to go back to a comic book store for the first time in 2001. After graduating and moving back from New York.
Yeah.
Because I had a comic book store in New York, but it was a pain in the ass because it was on the 4th floor of a building and you had to be buzzed in. It was I got referred to it. It was by invitation. It wasn't Midtown or anything. It was so.
You sure it was a comic book store?
It was, and it
secret
was
password.
Fine, but yeah. So, Anyway, it was interesting, and I think it was more of like a private collection that the guy sold because I was able to buy like back issues and things like that. Anyway, so I'd moved back to Cincinnati. I'd only been back for a few months, and Kevin Smith was announced he was going to start writing Green Arrow.
Oh yeah. And
so Green Arrow Quiver, the first 10 issues. It's like I love everything about it. It's Phil Hester's artwork. It's so cool. I love Green Arrow. I always have. Even though he's kind of like a bargain basement Batman. They bring Oliver back from the dead. Yeah. And he's like prior to Longbow Hunters. Yeah. So he's still this really idealistic-ish. Yep. You know, talking about the corporate fat cats, you know. Yep. There's a scene where it's Arrow and Batman, and he talks about the Arrow plane or car or something. Yep. And Batman looks at him and he goes, "Good God, man, have you ever had an original idea?" And it's like it's the most Kevin Smith line ever written, and it was perfect. But the whole like mystery of it and finding Ollie's soul and all of that, it was just a really cool story. Yeah. We got Roy back. Yep. Which we hadn't seen Arsenal for a minute in the books. You know, we met Mia, who later became Speedy, and you know, or the second Speedy. And yeah, it was just really, really, really good watching Arrow come back and interact with his past. Oh yeah, yep. And there was an issue with Etrigan. So never going to complain about seeing the demon Etrigan. Right. So
yeah, that was some of the best Arrow that there is. Oh, yeah. Because outside of that, Arrow was another one of those. It's like, he's kind of a useless character.
So, well, it was really nice too how that version of him tied into the White Lantern story. Later on too, which was great. Yep. But I love the idea of the husk, you know, and the soul, and then he had a villain named Onomatopoeia. Yeah. Which was great because I think he shot Roy in the head, if I remember correctly. Yeah. And when he shoots him, he just goes bang. Yeah. As he shoots the gun. Yeah. It was great. Anyway, because that, if you don't know, that's what an onomatopoeia is. Yep. It's like if I hit my hand, I say slap. Whap. Whap. Or if I punch Matt in the face, I say biff. Bang. Pow.
Awesome.
Anyway, not that I ever punched Matt in the face because he'd destroy me. Anywho. All right, what do you got next?
Samurai, the Heart of the Prophet.
I don't know this one.
This is, I don't even remember where I got it. It's a pretty thick book, and I almost brought it because it's so crazy. Yeah. It takes a lot of like the samurai stories and kind of melds them together. Like there's this guy that went looking for treasure in a tomb, and a rock slide uncovers it. So he goes down there, and he gets the treasure, but he can't leave the cave. Okay. And the only way he can leave the cave is if somebody, like, there's this ancient puzzle that has to be, a coin is pulled off of this puzzle, and this samurai runs into this little girl who actually fixes the puzzle, and then these people find out, and they have to hunt down this girl, and this samurai protects this girl, kind of a lone wolf and cub kind of thing. Yeah. And it gets insane. And this guy's like, he's lived for like, I can't remember, it's like 40 years in this cave, and he's immortal. Yeah. As long as he stays there.
Ah. So he's like the Templar from Last Crusade.
Yeah, he's like an evil Templar.
Nice. You chose poorly.
That was good. It's a crazy story, and it's really good, and I want to get some more of the issues. Cool. I only have the first book. Okay. And I want to go back and get some more of these. But, yeah, like I said, I don't even remember where I got it or when I got it. I just have read it several times. I'm like, this is great storytelling.
You should check Queen City Comics, see if they have it.
Yep.
So, cool. That's awesome, man. I love finding about like new books like that, that like are new to me at least.
Oh yeah, I have a bunch of them that even that I haven't even read yet that are just strange books I'd never seen, but I'm like, yeah, I want to check it out, so I'll buy it and then I'll put it up, and I haven't read it yet.
Yeah, very cool. All right, my next one is no surprise to anybody, Nightwing.
Oh yeah.
but the entirety of Chuck Dixon's run, so from 96 to
Yep.
like 05 or whatever it was. I mean, that brought us through like all the Bloodhaven stuff,
Yep.
The Last Laugh,
That's terrifying.
right? No Man's Land, Cataclysm, all
Yep.
that stuff. So I mean, like Chuck Dixon's run no one ever understood Nightwing and Tim Drake like Chuck Dixon.
Right.
And actually, no one ever understood Batman like Chuck Dixon, because they had the issue, I think it might have been in Nightwing like 100 or something like that, where him and Bruce actually fought.
Yeah.
And, Nightwing got the better of him.
Yeah.
Of course, it was his own book. So,
Right.
He better. But, we got the Robin Year One
Right.
out of that. Later on, we got Nightwing Year One.
Yep.
Which was kind of weird because we got to see him become Nightwing in Teen Titans,
Right.
and everything. We got the retcon of where he got the name from. That
Yeah.
came from Superman, and that's where we got Nightwing and Flamebird.
Flamebird. Is that right?
Is it Flamebird or Flamehawk? I don't know, but Nightwing got his own really cool rogues gallery.
Yeah.
He had Dudley Soames, who became Torque,
Right.
who was a crazy ass
Yes.
villain. Blockbuster.
Yeah.
Lady Vic, Stallion, then the whole thing with Tarantula, and like they actually even after like Chuck left the book and some other people came on, like they did some really interesting things with that version of Nightwing.
Yep.
Like they did him getting raped by Tarantula,
Right.
and
Yeah.
it was like the girl rape, it was
Yeah.
really like, and I'm not making light of it at all. It was just
No.
it was crazy, strange. There was the part where the JLA disappeared, and he
Yeah.
became the leader of the JLA for a
Right.
while because like they went away, and Batman was like, "Yeah, no, we got this guy.
Right.
I know a guy who can
I know
manage
a guy.
it. He's got plenty of experience. He led a team of heroes for years and years and
Yeah.
years. So, but yeah, and just like the way the relationship between Dick and Tim grew in that book was really, really good.
Right.
Because it was antithetical to Dick's relationship with Jason. Because when Jason tracked Dick down,
Right.
it was very much a GTFO, dude. I don't
Yeah.
want anything to do with you. I can't believe he replaced me. To, hey, little brother.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That was the first time he really became his own
yeah,
character and had his own world where he wasn't just Batman light.
yeah. I mean, he ended up in Bloodhaven.
Yep.
He had there were some really great artists. Scott McDaniel started, and like Scott McDaniel's style is not for everybody.
Right.
It works for someone who's flippy like
Yeah.
Dick is. I really liked when Greg Land was on there for a while, and we got to meet Amy Robichaud.
Yep.
When he became a cop. It was the whole search for a hunt for Oracle storyline was really, really good. Black Mask was kind of in the periphery there. But yeah, it was really, really good. Later on, Phil Hester actually drew Nightwing for a little bit, which was really, really cool.
He's really good.
But yeah, I mean the whole I really enjoyed the whole run of that. But the Dixon stuff, that first 120 issues.
Yep.
What is that? The first 7 years of the book was really.
It was a solid run.
Yeah, and he was doing that and Robin at the same time.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
And I realized I skipped past one of mine.
Oh no.
Vader, Darth Vader by Charles Soule. Have you seen that? That is, I love Charles Soule's writing.
Yes. Although there's no way of buying the High Republic.
Oh, I've already read the High Republic stuff. It's okay. I mean, it's different. It's very
Is it different?
It's very different.
It's not just retconny bullshit.
Some of it is.
Because that's all, like, everything I've read about it just seems like retconny bullshit.
It's some of it's kind of fluffy. I don't know how to put it.
I had it on my wish list.
Yeah.
On Audible. I almost pre-ordered it.
I think the characters are great.
Yeah.
It's what they do with them that I'm not real like the villains, that Nile.
The trees?
The trees
sentient
are better than I thought they'd be. That's a little weird to me.
The Borg trees?
The Borg trees. Yeah. The Sith trees. And
but there had been Sith for like 10,000 years.
right. but they were these trees. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's because
I
of
think everybody
statues.
just heard my eye roll. Anyway, so Charles sold Batman. Or,
Oh, yeah.
Batman. Charles sold Darth Vader.
Yeah, and I really I like what he did with him to build kind of that in between in his relationship with the Emperor.
Yeah.
How there was that tension between them.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. I mean, you don't really see it a whole lot in Empire. I mean, you see it a little bit in Empire,
A
but
little.
it kind of fills in that, he's definitely a puppet to the, and he's definitely all constantly tested and abused by the Emperor.
Since Marvel got Star Wars back,
Yeah.
Darth Vader has been the most consistently great book.
Yeah.
No matter who's written it.
Yeah. That and Lando.
That Lando book was really
That's
good.
Charles Soule, too, I think.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's cool. Yeah. No, I mean, it's great. Like getting the whole, because Charles Soule wrote the like fresh off the table,
Yeah.
right? So
All the way. Yeah.
the whole thing where he goes to find that Jedi on the mountain,
Yes.
and that Jedi throws Vader off the mountain.
Yeah.
And watching Anakin, because he's still
Yep.
Anakin at
Yep.
that point. He's not like, I mean, he's Vader in quotes,
Right.
But like when he fixes himself and he like force pulls his leg,
Yeah.
like the robot leg back into like
Yep.
place, that was crazy. But no, yeah,
And his crazy Force hallucinations at the end
Yeah.
there. Oh, that I love that stuff.
in the art.
Yeah, the art's
The
great.
art is amazing. They have
Yeah.
gone, they have spared no expense for the Darth Vader
Right.
books. And,
Yeah.
and they've only added to the mythology of the character,
Right.
And like it brought us Dr. Aphra and things
Yep.
like that. So pretty cool.
Which is I like her as a character too.
Yes, she's very
Yeah.
interesting. I was sad when they canceled her book,
Yeah, that's,
but now it's back. I don't like the new
no.
volume quite as much.
Yeah.
but yeah. All right, my next one is Invincible.
Oh yeah,
The entire
of
run.
course. Yeah,
I love this.
you introduced
series.
me to that.
Did I?
By the way, yeah,
Oh,
I had never read it before.
Yeah, I introduced Daryl to it too. He's been reading it.
Yeah.
I came really late to Invincible, and it's one of those things where I was poking around on the Comixology app one day, and the first 10 trades maybe were like $4 each,
Yeah.
$5 each. So I bought the first one and I read it all the way through, and I was like, fuck it. And I bought the rest of them. And I got to the point where I was like, just like getting the trades.
Right.
And then I think around, I got to the end of the trade and it was like I had caught up. Right.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
so I finished the trade and the new issue was coming out that week. So I just started buying it.
Yep.
Individual issues. And I think that was around issue 91.
Yep.
And then I was like just single issues from then on. But yeah, it was, I just love everything about it. I can't wait for the cartoon.
Oh, yeah, me either.
All the previews I've seen are really great. I love Steve Yeun
Yep.
as his voice.
Yes.
I think it's a perfect voice for
Yep.
Mark. So, and I love how it's like, it's a good mix of like Otley and Cory Walker's styles.
Right.
For the animation.
Yep.
It's definitely leans more Otley than
Yeah.
Cory Walker.
I love
but,
Otley's.
Otley is amazing. He's one of my favorite artists. So,
He does so well with expressions and people's faces. I love that.
and the viscera,
Yes.
right? Like when he punched through Conquest,
Yes.
that was great. And then the 4-frame panel of him headbutting
Yeah.
Conquest to death
Yep. Yeah.
was
Yeah.
insane. Well, what we thought was to death.
Right.
But then you fast forward to the time he actually killed Conquest, spoilers, and he choked him to death.
Yeah.
And just like the way Otley was able to draw the skin folding over
Yes.
Mark's fingers as he's squeezing down,
Yeah.
and like it's gratuitous to think about, right? But it is so awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Everything about that is probably, yeah. And it's the most consistent I've ever seen any comic book.
I like, lots of people like to say Walking Dead is a great comic. Walking Dead was fine. It had its peaks and valleys.
Yeah.
what's his name? Kirkman.
Yeah.
The fact that he's not known specifically for infamous for Invincible.
Yeah.
Is a true shame.
Oh, I agree. Yeah.
So.
Because I think, Walking Dead, it becomes the same story over and over again.
He did his best with it, but
right.
and when it ended, it had to end. And I liked
the
way
it
ended. I thought it ended great. So.
And he did a lot more than I thought he could ever do with that storyline.
And I like how they just ended it.
Yes.
Too. They're like, by the way, this next week
is the last one.
Next month is the last one. So.
See you guys later.
What's next?
Okay, I think this is my last one. Yeah. G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero.
So the current?
No, the old.
The
original. Okay, that was around the time when of course you had all the toys and everything, and I absolutely loved those comic books. That was probably the first comic book I collected every single one, no matter what. And then they had their special missions, and special forces stuff, and I loved the idea of that, and it was very inspiring to what I work on today.
Yeah.
And
it actually, that makes a lot of sense now after looking at some of the stuff you did.
Yeah. And there was one that was just a dogfight through the whole issue. And I'm like, this is brilliant. I remember being a little kid, and my parents owned the Tinderbox at the Dayton Mall. So I was there all day. So I'd go to Walden's Books.
Nice.
And just sitting there and read the comics on the floor. And they were so nice. They never said
they knew who you were because
yeah.
Your parents.
So, and that one I remember I bought that and I just read it over and over and over again.
So it's funny that you talk about how that affects your drawing style, because one of the Nerd In Studio things he did when he redid my face.
Yeah.
Angel says, that doesn't look like you. It looks like G.I. Joe. So.
Yeah.
I thought it looked like me. You got all my wrinkles and crow's feet, and I feel really old after looking at it, but thanks.
Oh, I didn't mean that at all.
I know, I'm kidding.
But yeah, I was a huge fan of those.
Yeah. I'm not a huge G.I. Joe fan.
Yeah.
I never really have been. I mean, it's okay.
The movies are terrible, but
the live action movies,
yes.
The movie with Serpentor, I always really liked.
I love the animated series.
And the cartoon I watched mainly because it's you can watch TV for a half hour after school.
Yeah.
And that's just what happened to be on until Batman the Animated Series came about. But yeah, all right. So my last one is Vader Down.
Oh yeah.
And so that was written by Jason Aaron and Kieran Gillian. And it was Mike Deodato and Salvador LaRocca as the artist. This is my favorite Star Wars comic storyline of maybe ever.
Yeah.
And I've been collecting Star Wars comics for quite a while. What sold me, because I was like, really, Vader down, he's sent on a wild goose chase to find Luke, and he flies into this system where there are 10 squadrons of X-wings just doing maneuvers, just out there practicing, keeping sharp. And he flies in, and he sees it, and most people would just be like, oh, I gotta get out of here. Yeah. And he attacks.
Yeah.
And I love the X-Wing pilot, just random X-Wing red shirt,
Yep.
Who is this guy? Why is he attacking us? Is he suicidal? And you get to see, I always refer to him as Anakin in these moments, right?
Yes.
You see Anakin flying the TIE, the TIE prototype, whatever.
Yeah.
What is the name for this TIE fighter? It's just totally flew out of my head.
No pun intended.
Yeah. Anyway, he's flying the TIE, but he's not holding the control.
Right.
He's flying it with the Force.
Right.
And at the same time, as laser bolts and missiles are flying at them, he's redirecting those with the Force.
Right.
And then he does the little Annie spin from episode 1, which he does again in episode 3, and these just rebels are completely caught off guard, and it takes Luke. Yeah, because Luke is like, oh shoot, this is that guy.
Yeah, this is a guy that.
This is the guy. He killed Ben.
Yep.
And because this is all happening right after the Death Star blew up, and Luke just rams him with his X-wing, and they both crash on the planet. And it was like, it's amazing because then you have Vader trying to hunt down Luke on the planet,
right? And
just through a sea of rebels,
right?
And you get Afra, and you get BT and 000.
Yep.
And it is just the best story, and I love it so much. It looks great. This is one where I have all of those issues,
right,
like, digitally.
Yeah.
But I still bought the trade paperback,
same
so
here.
I don't have to go back and forth between, like, or I guess let me rephrase that. I bought the trade, not the trade paperback. I bought the collection, so I could just read it all at once instead of having to flip back and forth between Vader Down and Star Wars. So.
And Nicolas Cage is in there.
Oh yeah.
That I'm reading it. I'm looking at it like, what? That Nicolas Cage is a rebel in this.
Yeah, well, but and seeing Afra meet Han Solo.
Yep.
Like, it's like you guys are like the same person.
Exactly.
So,
yep.
But so that's my last one, dude. Thank you so much. This has
hey,
been a
no
blast.
problem. This is great.
I love sitting around talking about comic books.
Yep, same
especially
here.
Like old comic books that I love, and and I do think, like, all of these, like, kind of affect how I look at storytelling, and, like, how I want to be story told too.
Right.
And just kind of, I don't know. I just feel like I've always gravitated to some of these characters and things like that. And
right.
Like Kyle Rayner is to me like a very special character, even though I grew up with Hal Jordan with Super Friends and stuff. And before Kyle came along, I was always kind of a Guy Gardner fan. Yep. And because the whole multiverse thing, like, he was the one who got the ring the first time, and then, I always liked John. I really liked how they used John in that series too, where he was like psychosomatic paralyzed. Yeah, and the ring was keeping him paralyzed. Yes, it was really interesting. But yeah. Anyway, no, thank you for joining. Thank you for problem. Talking about Gina. Why don't you tell everybody where they can find your stuff?
You can find it at _Mattastic on Instagram, and Rebel Studio Art on Instagram.
Cool. You guys should definitely check it out. How's the book coming, by the way?
Good.
Because last time you came in, you had just deleted the whole thing.
Yeah, the whole thing got wiped out, and so now I am through rewrites of the first main, book. And I've started on the second one, and I've started art on the first one.
Cool.
I'm about halfway through, and I'm also working on another project for. My brain just.
Oh, for Geek Anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's been fun.
Cool. No. When you get your Kickstarter going,
you
can come back and we'll talk about all that. And
I've never done one of those, so I'm gonna need help.
I know a guy.
Good.
So, but yeah, and then we can start on my comic idea.
Absolutely.
So, that I need you to draw. Only you
can
draw it. So,
I'll do it.
Anyway, and then we'll make like Keanu Reeves money and sell 600,000 copies.
All right.
So, did you see that?
Yes.
So, like, I know everybody hates Ethan Van Sciver, but like his last one made like over like 1 million copies.
Yeah, he's good at it.
Yeah. So, like, honestly, like, DC's getting rid of comics.
Yeah.
I mean, they are. Like, DC, like, hey, if someone who's a really great storyteller could license The Flash and Nightwing and some of those guys and write really cool stories, not only will I buy your stuff, but, like, I'll actually get back on Twitter and help promote it. So, I mean, I won't get on Twitter. I mean, I'll use Buffer to tweet, but I'm not going to actually be on that cesspool. But yeah. So.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's awesome.
All right, man. Well,
thank you.
Thank you for coming. We appreciate you. Like, this is great. It's always fun.
Yeah.
So, and we haven't caught up in a minute anyway. So,
yeah.
But yeah. All right. So we will see you guys next week. Daryl will be back. Actually, we're going to do something midweek. So when he gets back from his hypocrisy trip, and that'll make more sense later in the week. But yeah. All right. Thanks. Talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye.